Welcome to the T. Allen Haynes Radio Show. Conversations with elite business leaders from around the world. And now, here is your host, T. Allen Haynes.
Welcome back to the show. We've got a great guest for you today. We've got John McDonough, and he is the president and CEO of Houston-based Studemont Group of companies. And John is the Houston managing director of Cool Springs Financial, LLC. And John is also creator of the Future Creation Process and Without a Doubt series and former host of the Money Myth Busters radio show on 100.7 FM. He has served clients' financial needs since 2001 and trained advisors since 2004. Studemont Group is a full-service firm catering to the wealth management and retirement planning needs of pre-retired and retired clients. And it's the goal of the firm to help clients address their financial doubts and plan to secure a stable financial future. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's get right into it. Tell me about the Studemont Group and the types of customers that you're helping.
Studemont Group is set up to really help two distinct types of customers. One would be the group of clients that have late-stage high school kids, so seniors, juniors, sophomores in high school, and helping those families really prepare for the upcoming college, both from the admissions perspective as well as from the financial aid perspective. Our kind of motto for Studemont Group College Funding is we help parents pay for college without going broke in the process by helping their children get accepted to their school of the dreams and protecting and salvaging the parents' retirement plans. The second group of clients that we work with for Studemont Group Wealth Preservations is those families that are pre-retiree to retirees, what I call the retirement red zone, maybe 10 years inside of thinking about retirement or already into retirement, helping them make sound financial decisions, saving their retirement dollars, protecting their hard-earned nest eggs from the speculation, gambling, stock picking, market timing that most people employ in their financial portfolios from a retirement planning perspective.
That's awesome. That's a great service to be providing. What led you to this field, and how did you get started?
Well, I was supposed to be a professional soccer player, to be honest with you, but that didn't work out. And I saw the writing on the wall as I was in my senior year of college, and about 6 months after trying to be a semi-professional soccer player, I realized that being a pro athlete, especially soccer in the United States at that time, and this is 16, 17 years ago now, there wasn't much of a financial future in it, at least not for me. So I really put my resume online, and my internships while I was in college was with some of the big box financial firms, stockbroker firms, wirehouses. And I knew that I really liked how money moved. I liked the philosophies of money. And so that's kind of the career that I sought out right when I got out of school. And almost 2 decades later, that's what I've been doing.
Wow, that's very cool. Yeah, I think we've all get that realization that that first attempt at professional sports is not really where we're supposed to be going. So absolutely, that's a great story. So along the way, was there a person that influenced you primarily?
Yeah, I mean, one of my main influencers and really mentors in the business has been Sam Watson. And Sam Watson is the chairman, president, and CEO of Cool Springs Financial. And I'm blessed enough to be the managing director of Houston-based Cool Springs Financial. And Sam has been in the business for 30-plus years and has really kind of put me under his wing and taught me that there's a right way to do things, there's a wrong way to do things, and most business owners, most executives, most C-suite executives don't really know that there really is a way that you can make your business, your employees, and your family stronger with very little to no money out of pocket.
Awesome. You know, I've seen you speak at West Point, and I felt your passion, but describe to the audience, you know, what is it that gets you up out of bed every day and gives you the passion to help the people that you help?
Yeah, thanks. My speech at West Point, I always feel very patriotic, but on that day, more than most, I was feeling extremely patriotic. And I actually decided to pivot the topic of my speech at the last minute, and I really focused on the American dream, because you hear all this stuff going on with politics and the news talking heads. It seems to be that the American dream is under attack. And with what Sam has taught me and showed me and mentored me, that the American dream is very much alive and well. And specifically, when we focus on business owners, businesses that might be worth $5 million or $500 million, or individuals that might make, a couple $100,000 a year to a couple $1 million a year. People want to attack the success that those individuals and those organizations have had. And so we have really taught our clients, educated our clients to help them, that there really is a way to protect your retirement, to protect your employee retention, your real estate investments, your estate planning, and you can say goodbye to taxes, penalties, and fees. Our uniquely financed proprietary methods give people the unparalleled benefits of tax-free withdrawals without having to write premium checks in the process. And that allows them to recapture their American dream. When you allow people and teach people on how to retire better than when they worked, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's very cool. What are you finding to be the biggest misconception about having enough money to retire on and achieving that outcome? What are you finding in the marketplace?
The biggest misconception is the gap between conventional financial knowledge relative to non-conventional financial knowledge. And I walk most of my clients through a little exercise or quiz that says, is your income common or uncommon? And most of our clients think that their income is uncommon to a certain extent, but they don't think it's extremely uncommon. And most of our clients, if they're making more than $180,000 a year, or really more than $420,000 a year of income, you're in the top 1%. Now, the media would have you believe that the top 1% is dirty and evil and, the 99 percenters versus the 1 percenters. But I know a lot of 1 percenters, and they're great people. They're patriots. They love our country. They want to see the best for our country. And they're being attacked every day. So we've shown them on how they can, if they own a company, they can really get an edge on hiring qualified, super qualified employees and offer them a retirement package that they won't get anywhere else. We've given business owners the opportunity to cut costs, save money by eliminating existing deferred compensation plans. It's the strategies that we employed, specifically the Prestige strategy. It's easy to administer and implement. Many business owners and their HR executives, they don't want to deal with the stress of administration and implementation. So we've got one that is very low on the spectrum of stress and implementation, with employee benefit that operates with autonomy. We've helped business owners and self-employed individuals keep the money on their balance sheet, no disruptions on the balance sheet, so that when they build these plans, it doesn't have to show up as a debt against the balance sheet, but it continues to stay on their balance sheet as an asset. And they don't have to wait until open enrollment of the next year. This is an off-cycle benefit that they can offer to any employee for any reason that they see fit at any time during the year. And it's strategies like that that allow business owners, executives to really start to understand that they can be in control of bringing their retirement, their life for retirement, into focus.
Interesting. So what would be some of the biggest pitfalls that these companies or organizations might not be aware of when they're trying to establish this?
The Prestige strategy, some of the biggest pitfalls happen at the very beginning of the conversation, when most people think, oh, well, it's too good to be true, right? We've been taught by our parents who were taught by their parents and their parents. If something sounds too good to be true, it typically is, right? I mean, that kind of mantra has been ingrained in our psyche for decades and decades and decades.
Right.
But what we have to help our clients understand, and what we do help our clients understand and prospective clients, is that they are in the top 1%. They don't have to do the financial strategies that the other 99% employ. They can do things that wealthy people do. The biggest pitfall is most people don't find themselves or view themselves as wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do what the Susie Ormans and the Dave Ramseys and the Jim Cramers suggest that they do. But those people are talking, first of all, they're celebrities. They're not even advisors. They're entertainers, not advisors. But those individuals are talking to the bottom 50% of income earners in the United States, giving plain vanilla strategies. We want our clients and prospective clients to know, don't have the scarcity mindset. There's an abundance of ways to create wealth. People can retire wealthier and sooner if they just know the proper strategies, mechanisms, and vehicles on how to do that.
Awesome. So share with us a story about how you've actually helped someone. You've taken them from A to B. Could you share one of those with us without naming names, of course? But
sure. Without naming names, I'll give you an example of a family that we're working with right now. Mm-hmm. The gentleman is a C-level, a C-suite, what we call, so in the C-suite executive of a large Fortune 100 company. Mm-hmm. His spouse is in the medical field, okay? And they came to us by way of referral, and we started asking lots of questions, as we do in our first few appointments with them, to understand really what the issue is at hand. And these people have done well. They are firmly in what we would call the top 1%. Their combined household income on an annual basis is above $500,000 a year. Their net worth is above $5 million combined. They've got a couple real estate properties. They've got some sizable investment accounts. And when I asked him, what are your concerns for retirement, the concern is, it's not going to be enough. I'm concerned about where income tax, this is what he was telling us, concerned about where income taxes are heading in the future, concerned about the stock market and the ups and downs and pitfalls. And through Studemont Group Wealth Preservation, we have a solution for that, and we've started addressing that issue. But the real issue was the rising income taxes into and through retirement. Regardless of who is elected in the office, we still have 2 or 3 wars that we have not yet paid for as a nation. We've got bailouts that we have not yet paid for as a nation. We've got a severe underfunding of Medicare and Social Security that we have not yet addressed as a nation. And there's a couple different philosophies on how to spur more revenue for the government, but they always default back to raising taxes somehow or some way. And so this individual very astutely said, they might tax me 50, 60, or 70% on my retirement assets. So to summarize what we did for this individual, we established a prestige strategy for he and his spouse, one for each of them. Their total out-of-pocket for year one was approximately $40,000 outlay in year one. In year two, the outlay is projected to be about $70,000. So a total of $110,000 outlay. But in 15 years, the projected retirement income tax-free for these individuals, starting at year 15, is going to be over $600,000 a year of tax-free retirement income to supplement their other assets that they've already maintained. And when he saw how this works, and he went through all of the emotional gyrations that clients go through. Oh, this is the best thing in the world. Wait a second, it sounds too good to be true. How does this really work? Oh, this really is the right deal. It really does work. Oh, wait, I'm starting to have doubts again. So we went through all of the emotional ups and downs, and through a series of educational consultations, we brought in his CPA, we brought in his attorney, They both looked at what we presented. They signed off on it, blessed the deal. And now that we've implemented this strategy that's going to provide $600,000 a year projected in 15 years, he said the words to us, which is exactly what we wanted to hear. He says, I don't have to worry about retirement anymore. Now I just have to make it for the next 15 years. And that is reward for us. We've completely eliminated the fear of not having enough money in retirement. And by the way, the $600,000 a year tax-free that he's going to be projected to receive in 15 years is higher than the income that they're earning today.
Wow.
Before taxes.
That's an amazing story. Thanks for sharing that with us. What would you find, or what would be your best piece of advice for the listener that's, he or she's thinking the same. I'm not going to have enough money for retirement. I'm concerned about what's going on in the government and who's going to be in office. What would be your best piece of advice for someone?
I think the best piece of advice is whether that person is an individual that's what they would consider a one percenter, if that person is a C-suite executive, an HR executive, a business owner, my piece of advice is don't automatically filter yourself out of this conversation. We've been, in a bad way, kind of programmed to think that we're not worthy, we're not wealthy enough. Oh, that's for the other people, that's not for me. And while, yes, we're talking about very successful people that are our clients, typically $500,000 a year of income, $5 million of net worth, business revenues of $10 million and higher, just because you don't necessarily have exactly those numbers doesn't mean you won't necessarily qualify for a program like this. Talk to us. Give us a phone call. Let's set up a 15, 20-minute conversation. And in that 15 or 20 minutes, I'll be able to determine whether or not you've got the key metrics that would then warrant us to run your personal numbers. And once we run your personal numbers and we get your CPA involved, your tax advisor involved, and your attorney, once we get all of those involved, and by the way, if you don't have those, you are your tax advisor, you are your own CPA, you are your own attorney. Once we get all of those decision makers in the room and we get their sign off, they'll realize that this prestige strategy that Cool Springs Financial has designed, has a proprietary design on, it's almost better than zippers and sliced bread.
Interesting. So what would people benefit from working with you versus another company?
Other companies don't offer this, number one. And if anyone says, oh, yeah, we've got that, they don't have it, number one. They might have something that's a distant cousin of what we're talking about here, but they absolutely 100% don't have it. But they're going to benefit by really knowing that they can retire better than they live today. That's what they can get from this, retiring better than how they're living today.
That's pretty powerful. So if the listener's ready to move forward or to reach out to you to work with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
The best way would be to email or call. The email address is jmcdonough, and that's JMCDONOUGH at coolspringsfinancial.com. They can call. The number is 281-723-7117. Or they can go to coolspringsfinancial.com and they can find my bio under the experts tab of the Cool Springs Financial website, and I will be able to email me directly from the website.
Excellent. So you'll take them through a process, or how will that work once they reach out?
Yeah, we take them through the process, and the process has a $1,000 value to it. That's what we would charge typically to walk someone through it. But for listeners of this program, if they let us know that they heard us as a result of this program, we'll do this at no cost for them, just to kind of show them the benefit. And the process is the first 15 or 20-minute conversation to get their key information. And when I say key information, I'm not talking overly personal information. last 2 years, adjusted gross income figures, approximate net worth value, your age, your spouse's age, or the ages of your key executives that you're hoping to retain and give them a nice retirement package, their approximate salaries so we can do the calculations. After that 15, 20-minute conversation where we get that information, we'll have a follow-up meeting where we will walk you through line by line, column by column, the projections of what those numbers look like, and that could take about 30 to 45 minutes. And once that conversation goes the way it typically goes, the next step after that would be getting attorneys, CPAs, tax advisors involved in the conversation at that point so that they can do their due diligence and vet our program. Excellent. Well, you've provided some great content for the listeners, and I appreciate you being on the show today, so thank you. Thanks for having me, and I'd love to be on again. Absolutely. So there you have it. For this edition of the show, we'll see you the next time.
Thanks for listening to the T. Allen Haynes Radio Show with T. Allen Haynes. Conversations with elite business leaders from around the world. We will see you next time on the T. Allen Haynes Radio Show.